People in the Fever were like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit going on around there.
It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
Remember when Sheryl Swoopes took the stage during her Nobody Wants to Play for Indiana tour? She slammed the Fever's team environment, calling it radioactive and claiming that free agents stayed away because of a toxic locker room. It was a bold statement, but over time, it didn't hold up.
What kind of things do you say?
I'm not in the locker room.
Okay. But
I'm talking about more social media.
Okay. It's a turn. Right? It's a turn, right? It's really a turn of the tides.
Gil, here's my point. The beginning of the year, right? Everybody.
What it do, peeps? Sheryl Swoopes is been missing. Sheryl Swoopes is MIA. They got a APB out for Sheryl Swoopes. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, she did a lot of talking a few months ago about the Indiana Fever, the locker room environment, how people didn't want to play there, how people wanted to live.
Indiana, which I think everyone agrees right now has gone from, a team that made the playoffs last year, lost in the first round. They were building all these young pieces, of course, Caitlin Clark, to now an immediate contender with all the moves.
And Indiana has made a big splash in free agency, led by Subbird, who's no ordinary fan in a Fever jersey. Before we dive into her impressive insights, let's take a moment to look back at Swoopes' bold comments and give them the lighthearted roast they deserve. It's all part of the fun.
I think Natasha Howard certainly stands out. I loved playing with Tosh.
But you cannot say enough about
Tosh. I really enjoyed playing with her. I think she really is she's just this glue player that doesn't get enough shine for what she does, because a lot of what she does doesn't show up in the box score, but she just is like always in the right place at the right time. And a player like that, I think complements what Indiana.
Point guards of all time in the WNBA. And she's someone who obviously is a part owner in the Seattle Storm. So hyping up another team is a bit of a conflict of interest, if we're being.
This wasn't just the opinion of a rookie podcaster. It was a Hall of Famer taking a shot at Indiana's reputation. Swoopes practically sounded the alarm, claiming that Indiana was a place where talent goes to waste. She described the locker room as chaotic, insisting that no true star would ever want to join the team. She even went as far as saying that Caitlin Clark was headed for a basketball limbo. Her words were blunt and unapologetic, painting a pretty bleak picture.
The biggest part of DB joining this team is that she's already played for Steph. So I think that's going to help bridge the gap, because as we go along, we're going to talk about Vegas and Seattle, Atlanta. It's really going to be which
Stephanie
team.
White being the head coach of,
right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
Was the head coach of Connecticut, now the head coach of Indiana.
Yeah. So it's really going to be the team that finds their chemistry. This season is short. I mean, they're adding games, but it's still pretty short season.
Still short.
And it's going to be the team that finds chemistry. So having Stephanie White there, having already coached DB, really does.
Indiana has quickly become the top destination for free agents, all eager to be part of the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. Legendary player Sue Bird sees the opportunity, and when she speaks, the whole league listens. The excitement surrounding Indiana is impossible to ignore, attracting both talent and energy like never before.
Kelsey Mitchell's balling, Caitlin continuing to impress, and she's going to break records nonstop for the next couple years. Yeah. It's just going to be a constant record.
Sue Bird doesn't waste time with empty compliments. As a 4-time WNBA champion and 5-time Olympic gold medalist, her knowledge of the game is unmatched. When she speaks, it's not just opinion. It's wisdom that everyone in women's basketball pays attention to.
Something about the way she plays the game, her passing, her shooting, that people really identify with. So I really feel like we're poised and we're set up for a great, successful next era of Fever basketball.
To you about the experience, the champions that have been added to this point.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what everybody talked about when we were in the playoffs last year of, we really didn't have much experience at all playing in playoff games. I don't know what the exact number was, but we really lacked in that area. So just adding pieces of, players that have been in this league, they know what it takes to win. They know what it takes to get to the finals. They know what it takes to win championships. I think it's exactly what we needed in our locker room. So it's just exciting, but also like they're not only really good basketball players, they're really great leaders and really great people. And I know the front office obviously really prioritized that and looking for the pieces that we wanted to add. So really thankful for that.
Let's be clear. Sue Bird didn't jump on the Fever hype train with unchecked excitement. True to her season legend status, she kept it cool and measured, urging everyone to manage their championship expectations. That's classic Sue, calm and thoughtful. She reminds us that titles aren't won through Twitter debates or highlight reels. But if you listen closely, you can hear her subtle warnings. The message is clear. Indiana is on the brink of something big. It's not just about Caitlin Clark's jaw-dropping highlights, even though she's making defenders look silly and dishing out assists with ease. Sue sees the bigger picture. She recognizes the foundation being built in Indiana, signaling that something truly special is taking shape behind the scenes.
Sydney Colson is joining the Indiana Fever. What does that mean? Indiana is just being so greedy right now. They took DB, they took Natasha. Now they got Sydney Colson. Like, why would they take Sydney from?
I think Caitlin Clark is at that ascension point where she's going to be top of the MVP race. We're going to talk about her in terms of stat leaders later, but the way that the Indiana Fever just made a statement around Caitlin Clark and said like, hey, we're pushing in the chips. We're ready to win now. And DeWanna Bonner's obviously, the face of the new pieces that have come in. So obviously that's going to be the biggest needle mover in what Drew said. The market has obviously reflected.
The future is so bright, and our ultimate goal is to hang another banner in the field house. And our ultimate goal is to come back in here after we win that championship and celebrate again like we did in 20.
Aaliyah Boston is dominating the paint like it's her personal fortress, while Kelsey Mitchell is finally getting the praise she deserves after all her hard work. Lexi Hull brings the toughness and teamwork that every championship contender needs. Now, veterans are heading to Indiana, reminding everyone of the excitement from the 2016 free agency period. This isn't what Sheryl Swoopes expected. And Caitlin Clark didn't just shift the story. She completely changed the way the game is played.
Look at the sort of the trend or theme of the Fever offseason, in my opinion, has been adding experience. And DeWanna Bonner has that. She's got a ton of playoff experience. She's obviously somebody who can score. She adds a lot to the defensive end because she's very mobile and she has a lot of length. So I think that's going to help them.
This isn't the Indiana Fever team that used to be overlooked. It's the squad everyone is excited to watch. Ticket sales are soaring, and jerseys are flying off the shelves faster than Angel Reese can stir up drama. National networks are racing to secure the rights to broadcast Fever games. Now, players from all over the league want to be part of this thrilling momentum. Joining Caitlin Clark means primetime exposure, playoff excitement, and the chance to build something special. Subbird gets this dynamic. She's been there herself, an influential player who attracts stars and lays the groundwork for greatness. She sees the potential in Clark and this young Fever team, recognizing the early signs of a new basketball dynasty. Greatness starts with a standout rookie, solid support, and veterans ready to join the journey.
The Fever, if you haven't been paying attention, they are really active in ensuring that Caitlin Clark and company have a true contending lineup next season. They have Caitlin Clark, they have Aaliyah Boston, they made sure that they re-signed Kelsey Mitchell. That was a big one. They acquired both Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner. They traded for Sophie Cunningham. They still have Lexi Hull. And now they have made a move that is literally my favorite of WNBA free agency. They have signed Sydney Colson, face of the WNBA.
The market would agree, right? Because after she was signed, they went from a plus 900 to like a plus 450, plus 500. And we saw, obviously that's not entirely Bonner, but it was Bonner and Howard kind of at the same time, or like very close to the same time. So the other thing is, I just think she's such a good fit for this team as like that Iguodala role, right? That the Warriors had back in their earlier runs. And she's almost like an overqualified Iguodala though, right? Like she can guard 1 through 5. She is going to be able to kind of leg off on those really, really tough defensive assignments on any given night because they have the depth they have. Right?
While Sue Bird carefully outlines the Fever's rise like a seasoned strategist, Sheryl Swoopes is watching her credibility fade faster than her opinions can be questioned. The Fever aren't a story of caution. They're the league's next powerhouse. If others don't take notice soon, they'll be left on the sidelines as Indiana celebrates championships, stuck in the past, clinging to outdated views. When Sue Bird talks about a team ready to shake up the league, it's time to listen. Rolling your eyes is not an option. She's not just a retired athlete chasing attention with flashy opinions. She's a basketball expert. Her insights on the Indiana Fever are spot on. They aren't just knocking at the door. They've walked in and claimed their place at the table. This is where Sheryl Swoopes completely misses the mark with her outdated comments, suggesting no one wants to play in Indiana. She made Caitlin Clark's arrival sound like stepping into a basketball wasteland, but that's far from reality. Swoopes didn't do her homework. This wasn't a sudden turnaround sparked by Clark's drafting. The Fever have been building for years, developing talent, weathering tough losses, and establishing a solid foundation, even when few were watching. Caitlin Clark may be the spark, but the potential has been quietly simmering, ready to ignite into something truly transformative. But Sue isn't just watching the players. She's also paying close attention to the mastermind behind it all, Stephanie White. White isn't your average coach. She's not just standing on the sidelines with a clipboard. Having reached the highest level of success herself, she knows the pressure that comes with it and how to develop raw talent into championship-worthy teams. She's not winging it. She's carefully designing every game plan. Let's not forget the strong connection between Stephanie White and Dana Bonner, one of the league's most versatile and dangerous veterans. Their history and trust are huge assets. Bonner isn't here for the nostalgia or to boost locker room morale. She's here to create.
The Indiana Fever are that golden destination, and I can't help but laugh to the fans and the people online and the media commentators, unfortunately, who said that nobody wanted to play in Indiana. That doesn't make any